Welcome to 4Cs1 Family, where expats, immigrants, and migrants can share and learn about life experiences abroad. I'm your host, James Thomas, coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan, and I'm so glad to have you traveling along with me on this journey. Welcome to the show. Well, right now I'm spending a Sunday afternoon here in northern Taiwan, in an area called New Taipei City. And I'm here at a Starbucks. It's a little bit noisy here, so I hope you're not picking up too much noise. But I was sitting here doing some writing, and I came across a couple of articles about how some how some foreign nationals feel about some of the issues they are facing while living abroad. And sometimes the experiences can be negative, and sometimes these negative experiences can be attributed, I should say, to some things that may not totally hit the nail right on the head. So I came across an article on how some foreign nationals, what they mainly point to, especially from North America and Europe, is racism. Now, especially in my home country, United States, racism has risen its ugly head to a point that is unprecedented, and it's quite frightening. But as it pertains to how North Americans, Americans in particular, live or overseas and face certain encounters, they attribute it to racism. But I found an article that caused me to think in another direction, and it's classism, in fact. A lot of foreign nationals, especially pretty young ones, they go overseas to see the world, and one of the ways they finance themselves while living abroad is doing simple things like teaching English. And sometimes in some nations, teaching English, especially out here in Asia, mainland China, Taiwan, teaching English for young people especially is not seen as a particular serious type of occupation for most. Now, there's different types of schools out here where foreign nationals come out to teach, and they're known as supplementary schools or 补习班 in Mandarin Chinese, which means supplementary school. And usually, a lot of young foreigners out here come out here and they would tell someone they're an English teacher in one of these schools. They notice that the locals look at them really as not as seriously to some level, and they look at them as just backpackers, just coming across Asia to make a little bit of money here and there and travel on. But over a couple of years, I've met other foreign nationals that, at first, when they first landed in Asia, especially, like I said, Taiwan, mainland China, that can also apply to Japan, Korea, or maybe Vietnam at this point. Ooh, little guy is screaming here. And they get attached to the local culture, and they find themselves wanting to to more integrate themselves into the local culture. And they felt that when they introduced themselves as, for example, a language English teacher in one of these small supplementary schools, I'm not talking about institutions, they noticed that people look at them, or get a feeling that people really don't see them as a serious person. And that also added to issues when they are trying to build relationships, because out here in Asia, when you get into relationships, you're not just building a relationship with that person, you're actually building with the family and friends. But when they introduce themselves as an English teacher in particular, they noticed that they were getting certain feelings that they are not a serious person. But an article I came across showed that this particular individual, and also from experiences from what my friends tell me, is that when this person's got the same job teaching English in an established uh, university or large institution, they noticed that local people, because of this certain classification, all of a sudden they got, because they are now doing the same thing in a school of higher learning, a university, a prestigious university out here, they noticed that people the locals here looked at them differently. And then when, they would build relationships with people and introduce themselves as an English teacher, but in a particular large institution, they noticed that people addressed them differently, um, spoke to them differently, almost like they got a little higher level of respect. They got a little bit higher level up on the ladder in some cases. And there's a particular website that brought this up in my mind. I can't remember right now, but maybe I'll add it later in the show notes. But this is just a very impromptu thing I'm doing right now from Starbucks. So like I said, it's probably very noisy here, and the music in the background and people around me are eating. And I'm trying to do this across on my 4G cell phone here. But this is something that I would like to share with you, and maybe eventually I'll do a regular a, a blog post, a stream here on this channel. But this is something that got me thinking. And if you're a foreign national, have you noticed anything about how classism can actually be a factor in the way people in your local community or people of your host nation address you? Let me know in the comments below. And look, if you found anything that what I have to offer here of any value, please click that subscribe and bell button below. And tell me your comments. Maybe I could put something together and bring you something else. Well, look, thank you very much for 4Cs1 family. I'm James Thomas from Taipei, Taiwan, and take care wherever you are.